Summer is fast approaching, and I think it's time we took a little bit of stress out of our lives, isn't it? With HelloFresh UK, you can get all the ingredients and inspiration you need to make your meal times and your cooking experience simpler than ever. HelloFresh provides a number of recipes and meals to make your life as easy as possible and also caters to a wide range of different dietary requirements. Use my special discount to get 50% off your first order plus 35% off the next three and 3 free gifts as well. What more could you ask for? Check out the discount link or the checkout code down in the description below. Well, it's time to return to club football with our first Premier League game in charge of Manchester United. It's not the toughest game on paper, but we've had one new signing since the last episode, and he's now injured for the opening day. There are some problems here, I think. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 110 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. We are back today for Manchester United's first game of the season, and we're looking to improve drastically on their 14th place finish last year. We face Wolves at home after most sides have already played, and in Luton's case they've won already. But we have got a few people that we need to focus on because we've got injuries, we've got problems, and it's not ideal coming into the start of the season. We start with 3 games in a week, followed by a Manchester derby. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on our former club Crystal Palace, who are now probably on paper expected to finish above United most years. And in addition, we've got to meet the criteria to keep some of these unhappy players happy and also to keep the board happy, because getting into the top half in Europe is going to be tricky this year. We're going to start, before we go and have a look at the squad, the tactic, and play our first game, with the transfers that have happened since you were with me. There's a lot of players potentially going out to our feeder club Espanyol. Very interesting to see that one of them, 11% wages. I've never seen that before. I've only ever seen 5s and 10s. We've got another scout potentially coming in via John Murtow, and this time actually is a good one, so we'd quite like to get him into the club. But let's focus on the bit you're worried about for now. When you were last with me, we joined Manchester United after the Euros, and North and Jimenez were already in. We've signed a youngster in Miguel Sakura, who is nowhere near the level at the moment. Probably never will be, in truth, for 1.8 million. And then it is Campo Elias Cabades, who has come in from Rangers for 30 million quid. Another one, and I don't know what it is, with John Murtow. Love signing short players, and if there's one area we're going to be weak this year, it's set pieces, because everyone's 5'3", 5'4", 5, 6, 7. There's not many big people in this team. But either way, he was a very good player and maybe opened the door for that midfield 3 tactic. But he's picked up an injury now for 3 weeks. It doesn't offer us the greatest squad depth still, and he's replacing someone who's left the club. So I'm not in an ideal position here, because I don't feel that we're particularly strong going into the opening day. But he's got good player traits, he's got a professional personality, and as we mentioned before with Palace a few years ago, that window where we criticised Dougie, but he brought in really good characters off the pitch. It made a big difference to our performance, and maybe this year, John Murtow is doing the same. We did, of course, lose a star midfielder, but thankfully he didn't go to a Premier League rival in the end. Roberto Almazan went to Gladbach for nearly 50 million quid, and that's why obviously we're able to spend more money now. But I would have rather kept him, to be honest. He's better than the one we've bought in. He's probably better than most of our starters, bar the 2 England boys, Hodgkinson and Ocon. And I don't think, looking at the season ahead, we're going to be any stronger for letting him go. So, bit of a shame that he's left the club. Of course, it will reduce the wage bill slightly. We've also seen Lazarus Lungu leave for 12 million quid. He was the 3rd choice keeper. Interestingly, Joel Finnegan rejected his move, so we've still got 2 senior keepers at the moment. And the other one from the first team that went out was Luke Medley, who was one of the best youngsters at the club, one I was looking to promote as soon as we got here. He's been sold to Southampton for about 28 million, and he's going to be worth a lot more than that, I'm going to tell you now. But the one thing I am really noticing here is the characters going out are definitely the weaker ones. So you had the balanced Medley, you've got the fickle Almazan, I'm not sure what Lungu was, I can't remember, light-hearted as well. So it is definitely a focus on stronger characters in the dressing room. You've got a fairly professional North, you've got a professional and determined Cabades, And you've also got Jimenez, who's fairly ambitious, but again, good determination too. So a focus on two-footed players, a focus on people who are good behind the scenes. But will it be enough for us? We'll find out as we go on. Trying to work out who this guy was who joined earlier. He joined before we got to the club, but looks a good striker for the future too. There are some good players here. The schedule's pretty tricky. We've got a horrible run in September and October, including our former club Palace, which we'll show on camera. And really, we've got to get to November before we've got a run of friendly-ish fixtures on paper. So let's see how we get on today. We're going to get through to the lineup. I've got to show you the tactic, of course, because I have made my decision. And then we'll head into the first game of the season. If we can't beat Wolves at home, based on the season preview for the league, we're probably going to be in a bit of trouble because they're expected to finish 13th. Right then, we come into the new season with big issues of squad depth. There's no doubt in that. 4 senior players out and 4 youth players now on the bench. We mentioned that young striker signed earlier in the summer. And Benegas, Hunter and Ferreira, all from the youth team as well. All about 2-star ability, maybe ones for the future. The starting 11's all right, but we're missing a couple of pros. And overall, we're just having to think about style here. Now, it's something a few of you pointed out in the comments and we've noticed as well. Defensively, we've got no real talent on the ball at centre-half. You've got Klishkin, who is not great on the ball. Bit weird, really. He's only 5'11", but he's just a great, gritty personality. And we've also got Develay, who is awful on the ball, but very good in the air and very good as a centre-half, a basic centre-half. The fullbacks, by contrast, are great on the ball. Duffy can play in midfield, very good, very comfortable, but not the best crosser of it. And Vanderson, we know, a Brazilian, classy and good on the ball. We've got Hodgkinson as a playmaker who is as well. So this is sort of what we're aiming for here. Our best technical players are from midfield forward. So why play around with it at the back? We like to play out, we like to play good football. It's just not possible here. So we're going to go for a balanced passing range. We don't mind it going to the fullbacks and from goal kicks. I'd actually prefer that. But we want to get the ball forward as quickly as possible. So to the fullback, to the playmaker, then into that front 4. The plan is then they're going to be able to run at the defence, hopefully get the ball into the box and get into good positions for the likes of Demeter, Bezal, Guido, etc. Even Ocon arriving forward from that Mazzala role. In transition, we're going to take those quick short kicks and get on the counter from the fullbacks. I want to try and get the ball into their half as quickly as possible. And of course, we're going to prevent short distribution more often, but also we're going to stop crosses where possible because I'm looking at the way we're set up now. If we get headers at the back post, Anthony Duffy is 5'7", Vanderson is 5'11", Klishkin, the centre-half, is 5'11". We've only really got Develay who can head the ball. We've not got the best movement in the box either with Develay. He's maybe not world-class positioning-wise, marking-wise. Off the ball, he's pretty poor. So I want to try and protect us from that and allow us time to get set. And if that means them cutting it back and scoring the odd screamer, then so be it. Hopefully by then Hodgkinson and Ocon will arrive. Robles is in goal, and you know my fear this season of sweeper keepers, so he is playing as a pure defender. We've got him in goal, Vanderson and Duffy the fullbacks with Klishkin and Develay centre-half. Hodgkinson and Ocon the midfield too, the England duo we used in the Euros a lot. Guido, De Buen and Bezal the attacking midfield 3. One cutting in as an inverted winger who's just tricky, brilliant and has got the lot. And then in De Buen, we're playing a bit more of a traditional winger. But part of that is because of the Kabida's injury, the new midfielder. Demeter's up front, advanced forward for him, which is by far his best role. He runs the channels, he works hard, he's great on the ball as well. I'm looking forward to seeing him terrorise some defences. Of course, of the substitutes today, or those unavailable, sorry, Simmons probably would have played at left back with Duffy switching to the right. Bit better on the ball, bit better physically. And as you can see, he's 5'11" and can actually jump. Kabidas would have probably been in centre midfield or number 10, with then Guido moving out to the right and De Buen on the bench. And then Hovenhoff probably would have been at centre half because he is great in the air. He's a good defender. And I'd probably edge him over Develay. But either way, he's not great on the ball, so it wouldn't have changed our style of play. So this is the team. We've obviously set up a lot with tactics and set pieces. We've not really got any height. Develay is massive. We've got to target him from set pieces. But this is the big problem I have here. Alongside Robles, our goalkeeper, they are the only 2 players in this 11 over 6 foot. And given the success I've had in FM the last couple of years, and given the success we've had in this career, so much of it has been down to height, has been down to brutality. But we're going to have to play a different way here. We're going to have to try and be physically combative. we're going to have to try and take advantage of the diminutive players in attacking areas, low centre of gravity to take people on, and get them on the ball and get them running at people. Because quite frankly, if we have to get the ball in the air, we're not going to have a great season. There are options on the bench that allow that. We mentioned Joel North, the striker who came in. He's still only 6 foot exactly. He's not the best, biggest and most powerful target man. Joe Taylor, the youngster through the academy, is still short as well. Jimenez, the other midfielder that joined, is 5'9". And even Humphreys, the other defender, who can cover at centre-half, is 5'9" too. We have got no height at this football club, and it really doesn't help us out. Not the way I like to play. We're going to be on the front foot. We're going to try and run at defences. But once we get it to those front players, it's going to have to be on the ground, because otherwise we don't really stand a chance. Well, here we go then. A real test of my management skills as I play with a team that has a completely different style to the one I would like as a manager. Isn't really great at anything. We've got a team of almost entirely under 6 foot players, but the defensive ones can't play on the football either. And you'd think if you're getting short centre halves, they'd at least be good on the ball. If we look at the Wolves side, Fabio Silva still going, is on the bench. Mariba is still there in their midfield. I've looked at their team. It is good. And most importantly, it's pretty tall and powerful. So we'll see how we get on. Through the dressing room we go. We're favourites for a reason. I'm not sure we're heavy favourites though. Let's go and get into the first half. We've got Clichin unhappy, which might have an impact. But otherwise, the attacking players are the ones we need to rely on. Well, as we head into the first half, I'm hoping you're going to see a few very new tactical things from me today. Things that I've never done before in FM. So we're trying to take advantage of our lack of height and great dribbling skills by doing short corners. So I'm going to see how they work out in game. Got a few free kick and throw-in routines as well, trying to speed the game up as Demeter's in. Unfortunately, he's offside. It's a great finish and Guido with a nice touch, but there's no doubt VAR will rule this one out. He looked off from first eye glance, and Stuart Atwell, well, he's going to disallow it. I think that's the right decision in truth. Demeter's first goal is ruled out, a positive start nonetheless. 10 minutes gone, and we got on the front foot, but still no shot on target, a yellow card early, and no great chances, as Ocon just puts in a normal free kick. De Buen's 5'5", wins the header, it goes over. Not sure why they weren't taking it short there, but an encouraging first quarter. Well, it's a first half of plenty of encouragement because we've done a lot of things that I like, but one of the issues we've got here is that we've only had one shot on target from 11. Our shooting has not been good enough, and the big issue with that is, don't forget, if we go back to our tactics here, we're working the ball into the box. We're trying to get it in and create really good chances, but at the moment that just isn't happening. I'm not sure what's causing that, because in the friendlies, it was something we were doing well. But for now, let's get through the dressing room. Let's get into the second half. This is going to be a pretty interesting test. And if we draw it, no matter what we say about the performance, it's a disappointing day. Well, a quiet start to the second half. And again, oh, I don't mind this time. I was about to go on a rant, I'll be honest. I was about to rant he didn't play the short corner because they've gone to close it down. But it's a great cross. And Deverley, maybe that is part of the plan with the short corner, because we drag a man out to go and mark the short man. And we put Deverley just to go and run into the box with 3 or 4 others lurking around the edge. So he had a bit of a free run and he scores the header. And now we're 1-0 up. So the set piece has worked without doing what I intended in essence. And I think that's going to be a positive for the season. If we can drag people out of the box, maybe then Deverley does get the space he needs. As Clichin gets the ball at the back to Deverley. Out wide to De Buen. He looked like he can pass it there. Good through ball to Guido. Demeter's with him. Got to lay it off, surely. He got dragged a little wide. It's good defending. And even though Guido's brilliant, he's not quite the type of player I like. No one's gone out short this time. Is he going to play it? He's been joined now. Guido puts it in, headed away. And there's Ocon floating on the edge again. Maybe that's something we've got to work on. Maybe putting 2 or 3 out there for the short corner. But maybe just the distraction's enough. As Ocon crosses, headed away as far as Clichin. Demeter can't get there. Ball's headed away for Deverley. He does well to find Hodgkinson. And maybe the biggest positive today is that we've not come under any defensive threat yet. Probably famous last words as Baysal loses it. Oh, it is going to be as well, isn't it? Why did I say it? It's back to the centre half. Long ball forward. Deverley wins the header. De Buen brings it away. That's fine. Good through ball to Demeter. We know he's got the finishing ability. He's in one-on-one and he makes no mistake at all. 2-0 at the hour mark. We've ground them down. And you know what? That's the type of goal I want to score on the counter. De Buen releasing his man and Demeter making no mistake. Good second half so far. With 20 to go, we'll look at some changes. As we've got a free kick again with Ocon. Not sure he's going to play short this time, is he? Who's in the box for it, though? Guido's up. He's not going to get there. Demeter brings it down. Bit worried that they haven't played any short set pieces, but as long as we win, it doesn't matter too much. Glitching shot deflects into the keeper's arms. It's just looking like a comfortable, comprehensive win. Against bigger opposition and better opposition, we're going to need to be more creative, as Ocon finds Develay in defence. We'll look at subs in a minute as Ocon gets it again. Out to Vanderson. It will probably be one of those to come off. Gwen gets it back. I'm looking at the youngsters I can bring on. Can we start to bring people through this season? Maybe take advantage of the lower pressure, as Guido can't get on the end of that through ball. Nice to see Ocon looking for it, though. We're very left-footed heavy in midfield as well. Ocon, Hodgkinson, Guido, and I think Baysal are all left-footed, which makes it hard. As the ball comes into Moreira, miles off is Gordon. Surely the shot goes in. I mean, that's got to be offside. Not sure where the defending was. Not sure why the keeper didn't reduce the angle there. But this has got to be disallowed. It is. 2-0 it stays. Let's go and make changes. 20 to go. Right then, I've set 3 initial changes up. I'll then also bring on Jimenez later and probably Hunter, who's homegrown at the club. And I've brought on 2 of their own. I've brought on Charlie Humphreys and Joseph Taylor, who have come through the academy. And I've also brought on Joel North up front for a bit of an experiment. The Buen's come off and I've put Demeter out to the right just to see what he's like on that aggressive duty. North will then play as a target man with all the other 3 running off them. With Joseph Taylor as the number 10, a very good finisher. And with Charlie Humphreys at right back as well. This is looking pretty good for us at the minute. Humphreys is a little better going forward than some of the other fullbacks too. So after a very good 70 minutes, I want to see what the youngsters can do. Those 2, they're through the academy, they'll want to play for United. And surely they'll make an impact, as North on his debut will hopefully get a touch too. Demeter off the right, how much of a threat will he be out here? I want to see what these wingers are like on the attacking duty, as that is absolutely brilliant. Takes on 2, gets to the byline, puts in a wonderful low cross. And Joel North, do you know what? He might well be a target forward there. He played like a poacher, ran in the box, scores within 5 minutes of his debut. And that might be the most encouraging sign of the match yet. Although he is a target forward, he's not the slowest. He anticipates well. He's made a really good run there. Do you know what? I'm thrilled with that. Let's make the last 2 changes. We'll bring on, I think Adam Hunter will get a run out. He's an academy player who's got potential, but I don't know how I'm going to jig the lineup here because it's Baysal who would come off. Demeter can't play off the left. Joel North I don't think can play off the left. And Taylor can, but then who plays in the middle? I don't know. We'll find a way to make it work. The other one will be Jimenez for Ocon or Hodgkinson because we want to get him his debut too. Who's got the better natural fitness? Hodgkinson has. So Ocon will be replaced by Jimenez. He'll be happy to go in there as the Mazzala. And then we're going to take Baysal off for Hunter. Will he mind even playing off the left for a minute? Who's the best finisher of the 2? I'm going to play Demeter as the inverted winger because I think he'll be pretty good at it. We've got 5 minutes to go. There's no threat on the game at all. Let's just go and enjoy it. We've got 3 academy players on, 2 debutants alongside them, and it's a comfortable 3-0 win at the moment. I could not be happier. It's a big long ball forward, which Develay deals with well. Taylor finds Hodgkinson to Duffy. Don't forget, there's a couple of other academy players in the squad as well. If we can bring through 3 more to reach first team level, that would be great. As Demeter gets it from Duffy, he certainly can play off the left. Into Joseph Taylor, who for some inexplicable reason had only played 1 league game for United before. And he comes off the bench, he scores late on. It's 4-0, 3 strikers on the score sheet, and a very comfortable win with no defensive threat at us. I am delighted with that. Took us a few minutes to get going, but arguably looked better than I thought we were going to. I guess the question is, will we get teams to open up if we don't score that set piece goal in other matches, which isn't always going to happen. But Develay, superstar of the team. Maybe Clichin getting sold if he's unhappy isn't a bad thing. Get the 2 big centre halves in, and if we've got both of them in the box while doing all the other bits of the set piece routines, we might be okay. That dragging a man out short really worked. It surprised me even. Now let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're going to be back. Did someone mention a Manchester derby in a few games' time? I think we might have to show it, might we? Well, I did not know that, and you wouldn't have been able to tell from his performance. Marco Demeter had gone 15 senior club matches without scoring before that one against Wolves, and he set up a couple as well. I mean, if we can get him firing, it'll be like our guy Vaknin, but at Manchester United, and he's better than him as well. we'll praise him because he was absolutely phenomenal there. Played well off the right, left and up front. We're top of the Premier League on goal difference. Joel North, the debutant, scored. Joe Taylor got his first for the club. So many positives. I'm really happy with that. I'm sure it'll come crashing back down to earth because it is on paper one of the easier games in this league campaign. We're going to come back very quickly, actually. We might have a big tie in the second round of the Cup. We don't know. United not in Europe, of course. So we can afford to show a bit more of the league season than we normally would. We're going to come back for Manchester City, away from home in the derby. We'll show one of the games around that as well. And then obviously I'm looking at after deadline day. We've got that horrible run. But Crystal Palace, our former club, they're the last club side we managed. We did wonders with them. We've got to show that as well. And then my club, Luton Town, at the end of November. It's basically mapped out the year for me. Of course, cup fixtures could change the priorities a little. I'd love to go on a run this year. But given the restrictions in the squad, a really good start to the season. And I know I'm mentioning about a lack of depth, but we're only in the domestic competitions without Europe. So is it a bad thing to maybe have a tight-knit squad of what is currently 20, add in a few of those youth players off the bench? And I think we're going to have a decent year. I'm not sure they're all going to be that comfortable. I'm not sure we're going to be brilliant away from home yet, but it's an encouraging start. I was really thrilled with the display and great to see so many strikers off the mark. If you enjoyed it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you think about the physical things here as well. Have you got experience of short corners, free kick set pieces, and how would you advise making the most of them? It looked like it worked pretty well in that game, but without doing it the way I'd intended, to be honest. If you want to stay up to date and see how this first season goes at United, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Far harder games on the horizon, none less so than in the next episode. But before that, we've got to focus on our Build a Nation save. That will be back tomorrow at the normal time. A massive thank you for the incredible support over on the podcast channel this week as well. I've seen a few of the regulars over in the comments there, so thank you for that. There's links to the Twitch channel up in the eye above, regular live streams to come from there too, and all the links to our brand partners such as HelloFresh UK and NordVPN down in the description below. But thanks for watching, thanks for the support. We're back in club football in style today as well. Let's see if we can back it up in the Manchester derby. We'll be back in a couple of days to find out. Director of football, you could give us a gem for it, couldn't you?